didn't go. Jeez. I'll put this down. I'll put my coffee down. Sometimes starting the fires in the morning, there's plenty of coals in there. There we go. Sometimes the fires need a little bit of attention. There we go. Oh yeah, flame on. It's Sunday, March 2nd. It's very early in the morning and it's time for the Sunday message. So what I have to do is I have to upload all the video that I took all week and then figure out which ones are remotely interesting and put them all together to hopefully tell the story of what happened this week in a way that's helpful for me and hopefully helpful for somebody else. And then it's back to the new week. So anyway, it's nice to have a fire in the fireplace and the fire stovey thing. There we go. We got it going, and it's nice to have heat. It's very cold out. We're having hopefully the last below zero cold snap, and it's time to get started. Time to have my coffee. I've started fires already in both the basement and the garage here, and now I'm ready to crank up the computer. Here we go. Boom. Well, I took the weekend off, and it was amazing. Ursula and I just hung out, we went for walks, ate great food. I played the guitar. I actually played the guitar just for pleasure. That was great. And now I'm heading home, refreshed, and it's warm out. I'm not wearing a coat. Spring is gonna come. By God, it's gonna come. So this week's theme is building support. This week's theme is receiving help. This week's theme is asking for help and recognizing when you need help, and that it's not a failure to ask for help. And you may not get the help. You may have to ask another person. Not everybody may be able to help you, but just a huge, huge difference. And a shout out to Sam Voter and Callie Richards and Luke Howie and Joel Howie and Corey Vineyard and Rainbow Crabtree. Those are all the people that stepped up so I could take a weekend off. Just so you know. And Marilyn Rohde, my neighbor, I asked her to check on my dad. So the bottom line is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with others. And what are the first three letters of the word farm? Far, F-A-R. We are going far. No matter how you slice it, growing food is a challenge. If it wasn't a challenge, we wouldn't have grocery stores making it easy for people. And there's nothing against grocery stores, but raising animals on the land in a way that supports the land, in a way that brings back wildlife, in a way that prevents erosion, in a way that gives the animals the best life possible, in a way that creates nutrient-dense food, that is not a factory project. That is an art form. And art will save your life. Entertainment will never be your salvation. Anyway, I gotta drive home. Just wanted to capture these thoughts in the parking lot of Clifton Park, where I just stopped and had a bagel at Uncommon Grounds. And cowabunga shazam, back at it. Here we go. The question is it sick? You know, like it seems pretty unaware. But he's definitely looking for stuff in the water. And he's eating something. So maybe he just came out of hibernation if they do that. I don't know. But that's some good footage. Look at that. Well, it's a beautiful day for a change. We have sun. It's in the 40s. The snow is melting, which is nice because we're going to get some more. We're going to get some lots of different weathers coming. But end of February, just a little bit of hope coming in. It's been a pretty intense couple of months, but it's like seeing the light at the end of the tunnel and hoping that that light is not an oncoming train, right? Just a little bit of glimmer of hope, just a little bit of hope, and we need it. And everywhere you turn, there seems to be bad news and uncertainty and doubt. And my new mantra is feed the faith, starve the doubt. The only way out is through, and I'm working on a new song about that. And hopefully creating something that gets stuck in your head to help you through those tough times, these tough times, and myself included. And so, yeah, making progress. Cowabunga Shazam. So there's some good grass in here. And they are liking it. Some of these sheep were buried in the hay. They got their heads buried in it. Hey, this is Mark Shepard, Healing Pastures, the farm church, and I'm at Canton Apples, which is where I have my sheep, some of my sheep, and it's just one of these rainy, nasty days. Yesterday was beautiful, so I'm not complaining, but I have a few minutes before my St. Lawrence University intern, Callie, shows up, and I thought I would take a few moments to share some really exciting news. And there's a story, and I hope you'll stick with me to hear the story out, because I think it's a really good story, and there's a lot more to come where this story leads us. But before I get into the story, if you are new here, please feel free to subscribe, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment below, let me know what you're doing and why you're interested in regenerative agriculture and what your spiritual take on farming is. That's kind of my little niche here. Now, here's the story. 10 years ago, in 2016, somewhere around there, I went to YouTube to see if I typed in my name, Mark Shepard, if my music would come up, because I've been putting stuff out on YouTube since 2006 on various channels, and I've tried a bunch of different things, none of which really quite took off, which is fine. That's neither here nor there. But I went to see, am I making any progress? Like, I'm putting music out, I'm putting out videos on my Honest Hypnosis channel, I'm putting out videos on my Crush Anxiety channel, but I also have this Mark Shepard Songs channel. Is my music getting out there? Like, Together We Could Change the World is a song that has been sung all over the world. And in a few places, I've actually been given credits for it, which is nice. It's nice to get credit for something. And so I would check. And so on this day, I typed in Mark Shepard. And what came up was not anything about my music. I think I could find myself on the second or third page of the YouTube search. But what came up was a farmer in Wisconsin named Mark Shepard. Okay, I get it. I'm not the only Mark Shepard. So I checked this guy out, and I watched a video of this farmer in Wisconsin, Mark Shepard. He was wearing a bright yellow raincoat, and he took people on a tour of his farm. And I was absolutely blown away by the things that this guy was doing on his farm. He was doing what he called agroforestry, and he was doing things where there were no straight rows on his farm. He was doing what he called row cropping, where he would have a kind of a central, an area between trees and bushes, let's say, where he would grow crops like asparagus and other, kind of vegetables. But then he would have a row, and it wasn't a straight row, it was along the contour of his land, he would have, let's say, raspberries, cane fruits, right? And then the next area parallel along this swale or this curve of the land, he would have plants like hazelnuts, which are lower and bushy. And then his next level would be apple trees, cherry trees, trees that, fruit-bearing trees that are taller than bushes, but shorter than, let's say, oak trees or hickory trees or other trees. So he would have this kind of succession, but it was around the curve of the land on his farm. And I will link that video below, so make sure you watch it, okay? Anyway, I've been watching his stuff for a long time. I bought his book, I read his book. Getting back to the story, every year, I thought, my original plan was to make a lot of money becoming a famous musician. 45 years of trying, still hasn't happened. But I'll make a lot of money as a musician, and I'll use that money to buy a farm. So this guy kind of flipped that on its head. I thought, maybe I need to just get into the farming thing, because at the very least I can eat what I grow. Like, I cannot eat music. Tastes great, but there's no calories in music, right? And I don't want to be on the road all the time. The idea of being a touring musician just grinds my heart to pulp. It's horrible. And then I watched more and more of his videos, and it turns out he's also a singer-songwriter. I watched more of his videos, and I figured out he's about the same age as me. And I watched more of his videos, and I found out his middle initial is L, just like mine is. And I really need to reach out to this guy. But time passed, and I started my farm. I started in my backyard, and then I moved to my friend Robin's house. And then I ended up moving up to my dad's, and I started on his 3 acres. And then I've kind of moved now to my friend Corey's farm, as well as my friend Joel Howie's farm. And I don't own land at this point. And that's fine. That's a whole other idea that I got from Greg Judy, not from Mark Shepard. But along the way, I was like, I really ought to get in touch with this guy, Mark Shepard. And I don't know, 2 weeks ago, or his last, I don't know when it was, but it was recently. I was so burnt out and so tired, and something in me just made me sit down and reach out both to Greg Judy, who has agreed to do an interview, and to this guy, Mark Shepard. And I got an email back from Mark Shepard's assistant, and she said, hey, he's in Europe. I'm sure he'll enjoy your email. And sure enough, 2 days ago, I got an email from Mark Shepard. And we have gone back and forth now, I think 9 or 10 emails. And he sent me some of his songs. And by God, he's really good. Like, I'm kind of a snob when it comes to songwriting. His lyrics are first rate. His voice, first rate. And he plays a bunch of instruments. There's so much we have in common. So in one of the emails, I told him I'm in way northern New York State, near the St. Lawrence River. And he emails back, I have relatives in Canton and Potsdam, right? I live in Canton, and Potsdam's the next town over. So at this point, we are tentatively talking about doing a Zoom interview, which I will put here on the channel. And hopefully that can happen soon. And also, we're trying to figure out a way to get him to come to this area so he can visit his relatives and have it also be a business trip. And also, we want to pick his brain a little bit about how to manage our projects here at Canton Apples, because we have a very clay soil and we're kind of a bottom. And it's a very different situation than he has in Wisconsin. And I would love to hear what insights he has about managing clay soils and how to build the soils. And he confirmed that sheep and putting the hay down like we're doing is good, but also that we need to get some cattle on here. And the thing is, we can't get cattle on here if it's wet. It can only happen if we have a nice dry spell. So by combining my herd with Corey's herd and setting up ways so that we can load the cattle much easier than we have been. We can kind of move the cattle here when it's dry and then move it back to Corey's when it's wet, because his place is really good in the wet. He's got sand, but it's not so good in the dry. So we have some flexibility. But I'm so excited. I just wanted to talk about this and essentially make this the Sunday message. And the message for me, the spiritual but not religious message, is that sometimes it's not time yet, right? Sometimes it's not yet time to do something that you've been thinking about doing. And then sometimes things just come together in a way that, oh, it's time, and you pull the trigger and boom, stuff begins to happen. So there's a certain balance in this process of knowing when it is the season. To everything there is a season. Turn, turn, turn. There's another song. And a time for every purpose under heaven. So a lot of times when we start a new project, we don't know what the season is. We don't know when. Like with music, to me, that feels like planting a forest, a grove of nut trees. Like, I've been working on it for 45 years and it has yet to really bear fruit, except in the last email from Mark Shepard, the farmer in Wisconsin, who's also an internationally recognized author, by the way. You should buy his book on Amazon. He suggested that when he does come to this area to visit his relatives, we could help each other record some of our songs and do a collaboration like that. So that got me fired up this morning. And so even though it's a kind of rainy, drizzly, nasty kind of day today, like my spirits are soaring. And so that's what I want to send out into your life, those of you who watch this. And I'm not sure what song I'm going to pick this week, but this is the Sunday message. Sometimes a story of how things can come together and how people can, 1 by 1, 2 by 2, 3 by 3, 4 by 4, 10 by 10, a dozen by a dozen, make a change in the world. And so today, maybe I will play Together We Could Change the World. I did take the Sunday off last week. It was great. And I have released a new song, Orange Sky, which is a cover of Alexi Murdoch. So please give that some love on my Mark Shepard Songs channel on YouTube. Just go there. I'll have a link in the description below here, along with Mark Shepard and some of his talks, because I think you need to know him, because if you know what he's doing and why he's doing it, you'll understand why I'm doing what I'm doing as well. And the fact that he's integrated his music into his speaking and his work as a farmer, to me, gives me hope that we don't have to do one or the other. We can integrate all of ourselves into the passionate areas of our lives, and we can make a difference in the world. We can start today. We can start small. And every step along the way, you don't know who you will meet on the journey. And when we get to that point in the journey, like a lot of us have gotten to this winter, where it's like, why did I do this? Like, the only way out is through. Feed the faith, starve the doubt. The only way out is through. It's just as much of a horrendous journey to go back the way you came. And then what, right? No, let's go forward. Let's move forward. And with that being said, it's time. I think my intern might be here, so I'm going to sign off for this message, and I'll leave you with a song, and I'll leave you with some of the footage from the week and some of the video from the week, and I wish you all the best, and I'm sending out my intentions, my prayers, my hopes and dreams out into the world, so that maybe you can do the same thing in your way, and we can make the world a better place, because together we can change the world. And there's last thing I want to leave you with is, there's an old African saying, if you want to go fast, go alone or with one other person. If you want to go far, go with others. And the first 3 letters of farm are far. And I can't do what I'm doing without the support of Joel Howie and his group of people, his son and his collaborators, And I can't do what I'm doing without my friend Corey Vineyard and his wife Sarah and their connections and their collaborators. None of us can do it alone. We have to collaborate and we have to build communities. And cowabunga, shazam, peace, love, and grooviness. Amen. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. I believe it's not too late. Together we can change the world. Lay the puzzle pieces out, find out what it's all about. Together we can change the world. Can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for your help. Together we could change the world. Sail past where it's been charted, roll your sleeves up and let's get started. Together we could change the world. Together we can change the world. With our hands and with our hearts, we can dare to make a start. Together we can change the world. What if we spoke with one voice, knowing that we have a choice? Together we can change the world. Can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for your help. Together we can change the world. Sail past where it's been charted, roll your sleeves up, let's get started. Together we could change the world. Together we can change the world. Change your life, set aside the fear and strive. Together we can change the world. When we open up our eyes, then we start to realize together we can change the world. Can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for your help. Together we could change the world. Sail past where it's been charted, roll your sleeves up, let's get started. Together we could change the world. Can't do it by myself, so I'm asking for your help. Together we could change the world. Sail past where it's been charted, roll your sleeves up, let's get started. Together we can change the world. Together we can change the world. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I believe it's not too late. Together we can change the world. I think he's got it all over his nose. What is this? Look, little boy is really hitting it hard. He's like, huh, I really like this.
It tastes so good. I think I want a little more.
They're like, it's strong stuff. Blah, blah, blah. I love the way they stick their tongues out. This is really good. This is really, really good.
Wow. It's got all over his head.
Yeah, I think he got splashed on when I was pouring it. All right, well, it's Thursday, February 27th, and it is raining, and it's warmish. It's in the 40s, and snow is melting, and my St. Lawrence University intern, Callie, is helping me with the girl sheep. We did the boy sheep, and pretty much both groups are kind of going through about a bale a day, and which is disconcerting, and we're gonna have to spread this hay out once the snow melts and the season changes. So, but there's gonna be a lot of nutrition in this pasture, let's just say. And we are moving them around, so it's not all concentrated in one spot, but pretty much near the shelters. The shelters are frozen into the ground. The shelters are just around the corner over there. And, you know, the thing is, you gotta just start and then realize, okay, next time we do it this way, we do it better. This worked, this didn't work. And having the boys and the girls separate, except for the ram, who we actually wanted in here, that worked out well because the boys didn't get a lot of the same stuff that the girls got. But, you know, the girls are our future, so. And we're giving them apple cider vinegar and molasses and sea salt and mineral and stuff like that. So I looked over, I was looking for Luna, and I saw her across the field. She had just stepped over a place where the snow had piled up and the fence was invisible. She just walked out, and the snow has a crust on it now. So they were not going out before because the drifts were so deep, nobody wanted to walk through it. But now they could. But luckily, Luna did come back because it is dinner time. So now we have to start digging anywhere that the fence is buried by the snow, and it's a big area. So it's a question of whether we'll be able to get it done enough. And there's a ton of places. So, but luckily Luna came back. She's a good girl, but I hate the idea of her wandering around loose. Luna, no. What are you doing? Luna, no. Hey! Thank you. Don't chew on Joel's shovel, okay? So Joel and his son Luke helped me do some snow blowing along this fence line because Luna, she just stepped over the fence. So I'm going around the whole thing now. They had to go. But what's so great about these dogs is they're so chill. They just like it when I'm around, you know, but they're not all, you know, needy and pestering me and stuff when I'm working. They just go off and chill. So I've gone around this whole fence now. I'm almost done. I just have this last little stretch. But you can see the fences are barely above the snow, and it drifted. So I'm racing the dark, and hopefully my fingers won't fall off. All right, well, it's getting dark. I think I have the fence mostly secure, but you have to see, this was a brand new bale that we opened up. I mean, there's still plenty left, but holy crap, It's just a little pile now. But a lot of the girls, like these girls, they're working on their rooming. And we got some laying down, chewing on their rumen. So that's a sign that they're getting enough to eat, or at least at the moment. All right, there's just so much going on. And we're losing the light, and we have a snowstorm coming. So I'm out of here. Hopefully Luna will not climb over the fence. She did it twice in 2 different spots. So, what? What's my boy? What's my boy doing? Of course, Spike is lying on top of the hay, but at least he's letting the sheep eat around the edges. You like the hay, don't you? You like the hay. Ruh. That was a entirely brand new full bale yesterday. And the sheep just literally ate the entire bale. They'd gone through most of it before I even left yesterday. We gave it to them around 4 o'clock. I left at 6:30. But it's nice to see Spike and Luna are still in. So the work we did to dig the fences out paid off. Joel and Luke are coming over to help me roll these bales in. Boy, holy guacamole. What a day yesterday was. All right, so Joel and Luke came and we rolled these bales out. They had to go. So great that they can take a little time out of their day and help me tremendously, because it took all 3 of us to roll these bales because they're not round. They've been kind of sitting out. Dogs are eating. And I'm clearing up this little stretch of fence, which I didn't get to last night. I'm trying to get the fence out before it freezes down to -6 degrees tonight. And so the girls have 2 bales, so they ought to be able to have plenty to eat. Spike is finishing. Good boy. Finish up Lunas. It's okay. Finish your dinner. Finish your dinner. Yeah. It's okay. So you had enough? Have you had enough, Luna? You guys ready for treats? Okay. Let's do some treats. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Who's a very good boy? Who's a good girl? Such a good girl. See how stoic they are? I'm just like, we're built for this weather. We just don't like hot weather. I still have a little bit more fence clearing to do right over there. But taking a minute, I got fresh hay to sit on, and the dogs are eating their treats. The sheep are working on that bale over there, which evidently they like better than this bale. Yesterday was probably the most intense day of my life. Today is Saturday, the 1st of March. And they say March comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb. And I am really keeping my fingers crossed that is true. And just to have a few minutes, yesterday, Joel and Luke came over with the snowblower and we kind of carved out a path on the inside of most of the fence, not all of it. Then they had to go. And so I spent the next 2.5 hours with the shovel going all around, just trying to free up the fence, breaking it free of the ice and the crust and the snow. And it was hard, physically hard. I like went to bed at 9:30. I was just physically done. And today it was hard waking up, and I was kind of a little slow getting going. But the reality is, we humans have gotten so far away from this kind of physical work. It's really good for you. Like, being out in the weather is actually healthy. Being inside under artificial light is not. And it's hard, and it's uncomfortable, and it's difficult, and it's just exhausting sometimes. And yet, at the end of the day, like this is great. Which I tell myself, and if I can actually make money doing this, which is coming, it's on its way. Like, and I always have to remind myself that a lot of businesses today that are very successful, it took them many years to actually make a profit. And Spike is getting a rub. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. He's such a good boy. So anyway, Spike and Luna stayed in today. If you've watched this far, Luna escaped yesterday. I mean, she just stepped over the fence. It wasn't like she was escaping. She just walked out. But she came back. All right. Anyway, I got to respond to a text from Corey because he has committed to taking care of the animals on Saturdays, but I just had way too much to do, and that wasn't something I could dump on him because they needed more bales, and we don't have a tractor here. And so I needed Joel and Luke, and they helped me. And it's all working out better than I could possibly imagine.